This video is intended to guide you through the pitch process for hosting a Kids Feeding Kids real-world learning project in your classroom. Before editing the Google slide deck with your pitch details, please make a file copy and identify your school in the file name. You can access a fully formatted Google slide deck through the QR code shown on your screen. We review pitches on a rolling basis throughout the school year, but we appreciate having your pitch at least 3 months in advance of your project date in order to best support you. Some educators like to tie a Kids Feeding Kids project into a specific skills unit of study, while others like to coordinate their Kids Feeding Kids project to a community event or holiday. This is a question we hope you will involve your students in answering. Unfortunately, there are many stigmas attached to food insecurity, and helping students uncover the real causes of food insecurity is an important part of the Kids Feeding Kids project. This slide and the next are identical, providing 4 spaces for students to investigate helping agencies in their local community that serve families in need. You are not required to have identified 4 agencies, and you may have more, but we encourage you to have at least 2. We recommend organizing students in pairs, triads, or groups of 4 to locate, investigate, and hopefully interview a representative from a local agency. Have students present their findings to the class, then vote on which agency will receive your Kids Feeding Kids meals. It's also possible that your class may decide to distribute directly from school, especially in smaller communities where there are no local agencies. Discovering how limited or abundant local resources are is an important learning outcome and transferable life skill. How did what your students learn conflict with or support their hypothesis about food insecurity? This is the duplicate slide for those who investigate 4 agencies. If you're a large class, you're welcome to copy this slide and present additional agencies. Here is where you will describe how you will distribute the meals once they are prepared. We recommend that you allow students to vote on this based on the agencies they researched in their previous slides. We're curious to know why kids voted a particular way. What made a certain agency more compelling to them? If they decided to distribute directly from campus, how did they reach this decision? If you are utilizing one of the suggested Kids Feeding Kids recipes, you can select that here. Or you might be creating your own. If so, please describe it and tell us, how did you reach the decision to choose that menu? Please be sure to explain how you arrived at this number. We use this information to help us better understand the unique limitations or range of the classrooms we support. In some communities, local health codes may factor into your decision of where you will prepare your Kids Feeding Kids meals. This will be unique to each classroom. Only classrooms who plan to distribute meals through a local helping agency are required to answer the questions on this slide. If you plan to distribute directly from your campus, please skip this slide. Taking time to answer these questions now will save you time and frustration the day of your event. Feel free to add slides in order to address each question thoroughly. Please note the second bullet point pertaining to any local health codes and food donations. As stated, this page and the following page are only required of classrooms who are not planning to distribute meals through a helping agency. In other words, if you identified a helping agency and completed the previous slide, you can skip this slide and the next. But if you are distributing meals on campus, you must complete the next slide. This looks like a lot to think about, but involving students can help, especially having students in your class or in media classes create the communication pieces. Students could also help organize additional adult and student volunteers. When students ask adults, adults are more likely to say yes. You might want to copy and paste these questions into a separate Google Doc, then link that Google Doc to this slide. The more specific you are, the more likely your pitch will be rewarded. Please note the first bullet point pertaining to local health codes and food donations. How you measure the success of your project could be a specific learning outcome set by the educator or a goal set by the students. This could also be a collection of student quotes taken after the project is completed about how this real-world learning project impacted their understanding of food insecurity, or how meaningful they found this project. We recognize that some of the data may be collected after the project is completed, but you should have a plan of what information you will collect at the end and send to us. This slide is optional, but hopefully utilized to showcase your classroom, school, and community. What makes your Kids Feeding Kids pitch uniquely aligned with Kids Feeding Kids? Although not required, if you or your students found any research related to food insecurity or collected other ideas related to your pitch, we'd love to learn along with you. Edit this slide with the school and educator name before submitting it to Diane at petesgarden.org. And please remember to set the share setting so I can access your slide deck. Best of luck!